the subsequent sentencing. So tell us about our third subject tonight.
Okay, the third subject is Governor Perry, the governor
of Texas.
All right, he just got indicted.
For what?
For abuse of power.
Abuse of power?
Okay.
Which felony is that?
And he's looking at 109 years.
109 years
in prison.
Oh my God! Was he a serial killer all this time and we didn't know?
Did he rig the election?
Did he rig the election like the IRS?
Did he give machine guns to Mexican
machine guns to drug cartels?
No, he
didn't do that either, right?
No, he didn't do that.
Wait a minute. Was he behind indicting Ted Stevens?
If he did that, he wouldn't have gotten indicted. So so anyway, abuse of power, 109 years, threatened to veto.
Did he release people from Gitmo?
Okay.
5 terrorists that now lead the Taliban. Okay, he didn't do that either.
He threatened to veto $7.5 million that was going to the Travis County.
Whoa. Veto a budget.
Yeah, he was threatened to do a budget veto of 7.5, and right there, that's a death penalty right there, right? I mean, you can't stop the government from spending more money.
Especially in Austin.
I mean,
because they're all Democrats.
But I mean,
Travis County's to Austin.
The government gets to spend all the money you have and all the money you'll ever have.
And by the way, how much do you have in your pocket today? Maybe we can get some more for Travis County.
Yeah, I think that he got indicted for suggesting that the government might not just spend endless amounts of money.
You mean the government can't spend money endlessly? Okay. Are you sure?
Okay, so he threatened to veto $7.5 million in funding.
Did he veto?
For the Travis County Public Integrity Unit.
Oh, my God. Wait a minute. I understand that. Wait a minute. Who was in charge of that unit?
It just by coincidence, the person who runs the Travis County Public Integrity Unit is Rosemary Lehmberg. The same lady who got arrested for the DUI.
You mean the one that got the DUI?
With the .23.
Oh, but wait a minute. Wasn't he indicted by a grand jury brought in Austin, Texas?
Well, yeah.
Okay,
anyway, so here's the story. So he demanded that Rosemary resign because he's saying, well, this is not good that the head of the Travis County Public Integrity Unit is like, getting in conflicts with the police and, getting in, having...
You mean that are running roughshod on the rest of us?
And so he demanded that she resign, and then when she didn't resign, he actually did veto the $7.5 million that was going to the Travis County Public Integrity Unit.
Wait a minute, is that legal under the Texas Constitution?
Well, according to the Texans for Public Justice, or the TPJ, which is funded by
George Soros.
Well, a lot of folks.
Isn't it?
George Soros is one of their biggest fund guys.
Yeah, he's a real Republican backer, isn't he?
Well, the thing about George is he made his money by debasing the Hungarian currency.
Well, not just Hungarian, the Thai currency, the Cambodian currency, the Japanese currency.
A lot of people say what he's doing now is debasing the U.S. currency.
And now he's debasing the U.S. currency, and he's making billions.
Yeah, so a lot of people say that's what George does. So he has a lot of extra money hanging around to do things.
Yeah.
And so anyway, the Texans for Public Justice filed this complaint. They found a special prosecutor, Michael McCrum, to go ahead and prosecute. And what they said is it was an abuse of official capacity. That's when he vetoed the funding.
Well, wait a minute. He had the right to veto.
Well, no, wait a minute, because now it's the same. See, it used to be, you had the government for the people, right? By the people.
For the people,
now
by the people.
Now it's kind of the government against the people, by the bureaucracy, right?
Right.
And you can't expect a bureaucracy not to get their money.
Of course not. They do. It's like canceling blood to a cancer cell.
No, that's like, because that's like almost admitting that it's the taxpayers' money.
Whoa, wait a minute. Big surprise. Whose money's that?
It's all the government's money.
It's not our money.
It's all the government's money. So anyway, abuse of official capacity by actually threatening to veto something. And then I can't even say it. Coercion of a public servant. Coercion of a public servant for demanding that
somebody
Rosemary
Okay,
resign.
so let's go back. This goes back to our segment 2 where we talked about the head of this DA, who was the head of a department, 30 years in office,
Lehmberg,
and decided that I'm going to drink 0.23 amount of alcohol, which is 3 times the legal limit, and she gets pulled over and gets an argument. But now, how dare the governor of Texas ask her to resign?
Well, she does have an elected position.
Oh, yeah, no, but resignations seem to be when you embarrass yourself that much, you're going to get embarrassed.
I think that
resign.
Technically, she couldn't be fired, and it is an elected position. So,
but wait a minute, isn't there like a city council, a county council, or something that would look at this and say?
No, that she's not. She's an elected position. So
I know, but that's still, she can be recalled, as we did with Governor Gray Davis in this fine state.
She could be impeached or recalled.
She could be impeached or recalled easily for not necessarily moral turpitude, but violating the ethics of her job as an attorney, I'm sure.
But well, I don't think it rose to the level of that because it's like we said, it's not a felony, it's not moral turpitude.
It's only 0.23.
Yeah, and so anyway, what happened here?
Where I'd be laying on the ground, drunk, knocked out, instead of driving around yelling at a police officer and then spitting on him, so they had to put the Hannibal Lecter face on her.
Well, yeah,
okay,
there
let's
was
go
a little bit of dramatics there.
It's a little drama.
Okay, so
just a little drama.
But if you look at Texas versus Hansen, okay, that's where what they call him a county judge or a county executive threatened to end the funding of 2 employees if the district court didn't fire a county auditor and revoke probation of someone who committed a misdemeanor. And so that was a similar threat. You know, we're going to fire you unless you, or we're going to cut this
It's not quite the same as a top DA being drunk and asked to resign by the governor.
So
it's
anyway,
not quite the
this
same.
went up to the Texas 10th Court of Appeals in 1990, and they found the charges were unconstitutionally vague.
Oh, you mean the charges against the official?
Against official who threatened to withhold the funding.
Okay, so we have a precedent in Texas.
Last time there was a case like this, it was found to be unconstitutionally vague. I mean, you couldn't figure out what exactly did the guy do so bad, you know. So,
well, wait a minute. If the governor of Texas is allowed to veto budgets, and that's within his purview, and he did make a recommendation that a district attorney who's supposed to hold a higher position in the eyes of the public should resign, and just because of that,
no, but
isn't that like an extortion threat?
No, that was what they were saying is like it's the threat that if you don't resign, I'll withhold the funding, and then go and carry.
So it's the extortion part.
Yeah. It's like carrying through on that threat. That would give you the abuse of official capacity and the coercion of a public servant.
Okay, so
that's the 109
what
years.
they're trying to reach for is they're saying that it's not the act of the veto. If he did the act of the veto without saying anything,
it would have been okay.
It would have been fine.
And if he had said it without,
or if he had said it in an internal memo that she should resign.
No, it's just she should have resigned publicly.
Yeah.
But and linked it to the veto, that would have been fine. But the fact that he linked the two together and carried through on the threat, that's a violation of the law.
So that's the violation.
That's the violation. And so it's a little bit strange. So Perry's legal team, and I think he's not having the state of Texas pay for his defense.
No. Actually, he has a guy named Busby, who's one of the top attorneys in the state of Texas.
His campaign funding is paying for it. I mean, I don't think the state of Texas is... Taxpayers.
Well, actually, the state of Texas could pay for this because it's in his official capacity.
But I think he refrained from taking. My understanding is that he's having it.
Well, I saw one article where they talked about him using the public funds because he was doing an act within the service of the state of Texas, and that means when they're questioning that means that he can easily use the taxpayer money. But he did hire a legal team headed by a very top and expensive attorney named Busby. So
but I think he may be, soliciting contributions separate than taxpayer.
That would make sense, but he doesn't necessarily have to.
Okay, and so anyway, what they've done so far.
But would he undermine that budget?
Yeah, they might veto that.
He might veto his own budget.
Motion to dismiss. Okay, so they filed a motion. His legal team filed a motion to dismiss, and said, this encroaches on the veto power of the governor, and it also is a violation of First Amendment rights to.
Well, he has freedom of speech to make comment.
Yeah.
And he does have the right to veto. So then the question is, you're actually got two legal issues. Did he have the right to say that she should resign? And then did he have the right to participate in the veto, which actually defunded that department?
So that's what their motion is. Now, in general, when you have a grand jury moving forward like this, it's kind of unlikely that the motion to dismiss is going to be successful because the judge usually wants to wait and see some.
They want to see the evidence.
Some facts play out.
Right.
It would be unusual. I mean, even the whole case is unusual, but it would be unusual if the judge dismissed this.
Well, you would think if the judge dismissed the case that there would be a lot of pressure on that judge, because now you would have the whole, because this is once again in Travis County, the most liberal county.
Yeah, I don't know if he's appointed or elected.
No, I would say the judge may be elected as well, but it's one of the most liberal counties. I would say that there'd be some problems against everybody.
Well, but I'm just saying in general, in a grand jury indictment, the judge generally doesn't grant a motion to dismiss because I think a lot of times prosecutors hold back some of the good stuff.
Right.
They don't give everything in the actually a grand jury indictment it works both ways, and it's been used politically.
Well, you can indict a bologna sandwich.
Yeah, I mean it's been used in a partisan manner for liberals and conservatives.
Why don't we do this tonight, Mark? Let's just pay attention to where this is going, and I think we're going to have to revisit this on one of our future shows, because I do believe that Governor Perry has his right to do what he did under the law. But I will tell you, tonight it's been a very stimulating, and I'd like to get back to as well the future of the legally blind.
Yeah, well, right now we're going to see how Governor Perry's defense goes. It seems like a very interesting case, and
we could have Governor Perry on Legally Blind.
Yeah, we can have.
And we can see Wens Holder coming in and saying this is some kind of civil rights matter
yeah,
against the DA who's not in the civil rights.